Gene Hackman's death shocked everyone.
Our community lost a giant, and I lost a dear friend, Gene Hackman.
But what's even more surprising is the truth he shared just 1 week before.
I want to make sure that my wife and my family are taken care of. Other than that, I don't have a lot of fear.
In his final interview, Hackman explained why he left Hollywood.
We never sit down and actually write together.
And the secrets he kept for this long. In this video, we will learn about the shocking truth he almost took to his grave. Let's dive in. Eugene Hackman's life was tough. He was born in California in 1930. When he was 13, when his dad left him, that hurt him deeply. Then, in 1962, his mother died in a fire, leaving him to wrestle with the pain that life had unrelentingly handed him. Before he became an actor, Hackman joined the Marines at 16. He didn't fit in well. One day, a former Marine insulted him. Hackman didn't give up. Instead, he became stronger. "I wasn't going to let them get me down," he said in an interview. His hard life shaped him to become a successful person. After a short time in college, he moved to New York to follow his dream. He worked hard jobs to survive. Gene Hackman didn't rise to fame in his 20s like most stars. At 37, he shined with his Oscar-nominated role as Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde.
Listen, your mom, she's lying there, she's just so sick and she's weakly, and I want you to try to persuade her to...
Warren Beatty saw his talent and pushed for Hackman to be cast, despite studio doubts. Hackman's true breakthrough came in 1971 with The French Connection. His role as Jimmy Popeye Doyle turned him into a star, even though director William Friedkin didn't want him. Hackman was his 7th choice. That role won him his first Oscar. Though the filming was tough, Hackman struggled with the character's darker traits, but this tension created one of the most memorable performances in film. Without the usual movie star looks, Hackman still became a star through his raw talent. By his mid-40s, he had proved everyone wrong. His hard work made him famous, and his courage later led him to walk away from it all. Gene Hackman was one of the best. He could be anyone. Heroes, villains, funny or serious. In The Conversation, he played Harry Call, a man filled with guilt, showing us so much with just a look. Roger Ebert called his work in Mississippi Burning subtle and powerful, earning him an Oscar nomination. Hackman also brought humor, like in Young Frankenstein, where he played a blind hermit with perfect timing.
And I live here all alone. What is your name? I didn't get that.
He wanted to prove how versatile he was. His role as Royal Tenenbaum in The Royal Tenenbaums won him a Golden Globe. In Superman, he played the villain Lex Luthor, a role he made unforgettable. Hackman's second Oscar came in Unforgiven, where he played a tough sheriff with a cruel side. His acting was always real and never overdone. Hackman had a special way of preparing for roles. He would carefully cut out the extra stuff in the script and focus only on what mattered. Director Alan Parker once said Hackman always knew what the scene needed, and he did it with ease, making him one of the best actors in Hollywood. Gene Hackman had a big career, but his personal life was not easy. He never got over the pain of his childhood. It made him distrust authority and gave him a quick temper. People called him Vesuvius because of it. Hackman once said, "Dysfunctional families have made good actors." Admitting his pain helped with his acting. His friend Dustin Hoffman said, Hackman liked to argue and often provoked others to get into a fight. In his 70s, Hackman's temper still got the best of him. At 71, he fought 2 men after a minor car crash. He explained the incident by saying, "He brushed against me and I popped him." Then, at 82, he slapped a man who insulted his wife. Even though he was famous, Hackman had money troubles. He spent too much on things like expensive cars and planes, and he made bad investments. He once borrowed his daughter's old car to go to auditions. "I was barely getting by," he said. Hackman's career hurt his personal life. After 30 years of marriage, he divorced his first wife, Faye. He admitted actors can be selfish, and he chose work over being with his family. In 1991, he married Betsy Arakawa, and she helped bring some peace to his life. But friends like Robert Duvall said Hackman kept to himself. Frances McDormand, who worked with him, said Hackman protected himself so well in his acting that it made his personal life harder. Gene Hackman looked calm on screen, but off-screen it was different. He often fought with directors and didn't like being told what to do. Hackman fought a lot with William Friedkin on The French Connection. Despite the fights, they made a great film. Friedkin called Hackman a Midwestern liberal who struggled with the darker side of his character. On the set of the Royal Tenenbaums, Hackman had issues with Wes Anderson. Bill Murray would sometimes visit the set just to protect Anderson. Even Angelica Houston shared her experience, which was Hackman telling Anderson, "Pull up your pants and act like a man." But even after all these years, Murray praises Hackman's performance. Hackman had trouble with John Travolta on Get Shorty. Hackman was always prepared, but Travolta wasn't. When Travolta joked about Hackman's weekend, Hackman said, "Nothing except learn my lines." Hackman hated the business part of show business. He didn't like makeup or wardrobe. The constant touch-ups bothered him. He just wanted to act. He once told Larry King that he loved acting and the business part is kind of wicked for him. His love for acting and dislike for the rest of it led him to leave Hollywood, something he talked about before he passed. Now first, like always, be sure to hit the like button down below. It helps us out tremendously with the reach of this video. Thank you. When Hackman turned 60, his health began to decline. In 1990, chest pain led him to the hospital. Doctors found that his arteries were blocked and he needed surgery. They used a balloon catheter to open his artery. Hackman had worked hard his whole life, so this health scare made him rethink everything. But he didn't stop. He won his second Oscar for Unforgiven just 2 years later. His work was very demanding, long hours, travel, and emotional stress. His doctors warned him to slow down, but he didn't listen. As he got older, Hackman found it harder to do the physical work he once did. He began to worry about his family's future. In 2004, he told Larry King, "I want to make sure my family is taken care of. I don't have many fears."
I want to make sure that my wife and my family are taken care of. Other than that, I don't have a lot of fear.
Acting was still important to him, but it was becoming harder. In 2012, Hackman was hit by a truck while riding his bike. Though it was a minor accident, it made him face his health issues. He began to wonder if acting was worth the cost to his body and mind. Gene Hackman acted in almost 80 films over 40 years. He had achieved everything: 2 Oscars, 2 BAFTAs, and 4 Golden Globes. But in 2004, he chose to leave Hollywood. His final role was in Welcome to Mooseport, where he played a former president running for mayor.
I tried to tell you, Mr. President, remember?
Well, why didn't you try harder?
The movie didn't do well. In his last scene, Hackman chases an airplane to stop the woman he loved from leaving, showing his struggle with time slipping away. In 2004, Hackman hinted at retirement. In 2008, he confirmed it by making a statement saying, "I'm not going to act anymore." Hackman stayed true to his decision. Unlike others, he never returned to acting. His choice was final. He walked away after 4 decades of work. Gene Hackman left Hollywood behind and found peace. He and his wife Betsy moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where they lived in a quiet home on a hill with beautiful views. It was a peaceful life, far from fame. Santa Fe's art scene and calm way of life gave Hackman the chance to be himself, not just a celebrity. Hackman took up new passions just as he had with acting. He started writing books with his friend, archaeologist Daniel Lenihan. They wrote 3 together, and then Hackman wrote 2 on his own. He said, "I'm not a great writer, but I love it."
We never sit down and actually write together.
It's a different kind of stress. It's just me alone, not a whole crew waiting for me. He was also a painter. He painted pictures in the style of Impressionists and gave his art to local friends and businesses. One local gallery owner remembered how Hackman traded a painting for fresh eggs. Hackman stayed active. He went to Pilates classes and cycled through the beautiful Santa Fe hills, staying fit well into his 90s. He became part of the community, shopping at local stores and supporting small businesses. He liked watching simple films on Friday nights and enjoyed stand-up comedy, especially Eddie Izzard. In Santa Fe, Hackman found peace and the freedom to live the way he wanted. His reason for leaving acting remains a mystery, but he found the life he had always wanted. 1 week before he passed in February 2025, Gene Hackman explained why he left Hollywood. At 95, he told a friend, "I've never regretted leaving. That stress test saved my life, or gave me 20 more years of it." Around 2009, Hackman had a stress test in New York. The doctor warned him his heart could not handle Hollywood's pressure and advised him not to stress his heart. This moment changed everything for him. It made him choose life over work. Hackman spoke about the peace he found in Santa Fe. "I miss acting, finding a character's truth, but I don't miss the rest, publicity tours, waiting for setups, or politics." He found other creative ways like writing and painting without hurting his health. "Hollywood didn't define me," he added. When asked if Hollywood had changed enough for him to return, he laughed and said, "Hollywood changes, but it's still the same, demanding and exhausting. I loved my career, but I chose life." Hackman was shy about talking about his legacy. "I hope they remember my work, not me," he said. "The characters were interesting. I was just an actor." He was proud he knew when to leave. Most stay too long, but he left on his own terms. In his last thoughts, Hackman confirmed that leaving Hollywood was not about being unhappy with it, but about choosing life. He chose life. 20 more years filled with love, creativity, and dignity. Gene Hackman chose life over fame and walked away. Sometimes the bravest choice is to let go. If you like Gene's story, subscribe for more Hollywood secrets, and don't forget to like and comment.